All right, guys, we have 5 new affordable graded books. It's time to see what Zach thinks about them, so stay tuned. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Rojas, doing the Princess Wave, looking very lovely today, just like usual. So bow down in respect, and of course, there's a dancing Coco.
Oh, Coco made it for this episode. But guest star, Coco. All right, guys. So today is Saturday. We've made it to the end of the week. I hope you're all enjoying this great week that it is, because we got a new show for you. So we got Time to Buy with Zach, and we have a special edition of Time to Buy with Zach. We switched things up a little bit. So basically, the Princess and myself, we tried to find 5 affordable graded comics. I think all of these books in their highest grade sell for under $200-ish.
Yes.
So, yeah, we wanted to get, these are all books that, like, we've acquired recently or we have between the Princess and myself, and we came up with a list and we wanted to see what Zach thinks about them. Some of them, actually, I think, one of them Princess got really recently, so she probably wants to know what Zach thinks of it in a graded comic book. So as this show goes, it's interesting. Zach's kind of like our resident expert here on graded books. If you've ever seen his room, it is full of boxes of graded comics. Our earlier episodes, we used to have a show called What's in the Box, where we just looked at Zach's graded comic books in awe. So he has a pretty good opinion, I think, at least in the Pacific Northwest, on what comic books are good graded. So
I would think so.
Before we get into that, he also has a high opinion on, recently, energy drinks.
I think this is an energy drink, but anyways, it's a fun can. It's Liquid Death Mango Chainsaw, nectar flavored sparkling water. Murder your thirst, it says.
Liquid Death. You're like, oh no, this one was actually Pierce Acid.
Oh no, they labeled it wrong. Oh, it's refreshing.
Is it
good? It's actually really good. Liquid Death quenches your thirst, or else. All right, let's get into it.
All right, guys, let's get right in it. And strangely enough, we did have all 5 of these books, so this is a pretty fun list. Okay, and a lot of these are new, so some newer stuff right at the bat. So kicking off the list, we got a book that Princess picked out. You have Mary Jane and Black Cat #1.
Thank you, Princess.
This is from a one-shot from the Beyond series.
Yo.
So pretty cool. This came out in 2021, really recently. You got Jed McKay on the story and J. Scott Campbell doing this beautiful cover. Cover A, J. Scott Campbell on a Marvel book is pretty cool. Pretty special thing, I think. Being said, this has no major keys in this book, like no major events going on that like regard it as a key. I think over time it could change though, because some of these Spider-Man books with J. Scott Campbell on the cover turn out to be a key as time goes on. But just a little side thing about this, this overall, I read the story and it's a really, really cool story. So at this point, I think Spider-Man is Peter Parker is still in the hospital bed. So Mary Jane and Black Cat have to team up to help him. And they have to do some stuff where they have to take on Tombstone's crew. Then they have to take on the Hood, which is really cool. They have to do this whole thing with the Hood where they kind of explain how this demon like ate his like hood, which is kind of crazy. Cool part of the story. But it also ends with this, I thought was a really cool line where you actually have Mary Jane talking to Felicia Hardy about, Peter kind of always liking Mary Jane better than her, and then she explains like that's how I always felt when it came to when it came to Gwen Stacy. She almost had that. It's almost kind of like this rotating thing. She had to feel that same where she was the bad girl to Gwen Stacy and Felicia Hardy's like the bad girl to Mary Jane. Kind of cool. I thought it was very heartfelt when I was reading it. But cool book. Like I said, not a major key, but it has been selling in a graded 9.8. So Zach, what do you think about this book?
Well, I'm thinking recent sales is between $46 and $70 and 9.8, pretty cheap.
Cheap?
There's 103 9.8s. 97 of them are Universal. 6 of them are Signature Series. There's 123 total graded. So
they're almost all
9.8.
You don't want this in a 9.6, boys and girls.
This book in general, probably it's worth just to get it raw. Maybe a couple copies. Make sure that they're nice. Put them top loader if you want. If you get graded, if you're gonna get it graded, might as well have a signature on it from J.C.
Campbell. I haven't seen this too many times graded.
No.
Or signed and graded.
Yes. There's only 6 of them, and
it's pretty rare.
It's a great cover for a cover A, and then of course there's other variants of it. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get graded, get a sign, get a signature series.
For sure.
Why not?
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Good book to start out with here. Okay. We got another princess book, and she's picking Demon Days X-Men #1 from 2021, and this is the Comic Mint exclusive. This is a combo I didn't know I needed, but now that I see it, I'm glad it's here. You got Peach Momoko on story with Rose Beach on best on cover. Beautiful, beautiful cover book in general. Obviously, Demon Days is a 5-issue limited series, all written by Peach Momoko. It's an X-Men story inspired by Japanese mythology. This whole series got such big hype when it was coming out, and they did like 1 million covers for it. I think actually Princess was collecting all of the #1s originally. It's just probably more than 10, I think, at this point. And overall, I actually thought almost all the covers were beautiful. Like, great covers. And having not read the story, I don't have a huge opinion on the story. I know from some people that read, Zach in general wasn't totally in love with the story. And it hasn't gotten that much hype, but they're continuing with it, so the sales must be there. I mean, they didn't cancel it. And it doesn't come out monthly. Like, it comes up really, really slowly, whatever they're doing with this book. But it's a cool book for sure, and I know they had a lot of ratios, and obviously as an exclusive, this definitely has a limited print run, so it probably has a little bit different value than some of the other ones. But I don't know, Zach, what do you think about this as a graded book?
Well, recent sale is for the trade dress, and it's a Comic Mint exclusive, if I remember correctly. It's $32 to $69.95. There's 14 9.9s. There's 134 9.8s. There's only 149 graded.
Whoa, that's like
yeah, pretty much. There's one that's not a 9.8 or 9.9. Looks like, if my math is serves me.
Sorry if you're that person.
Sorry, real sorry. It's a fantastic cover. Rose Beach is an up-and-coming artist, if not already up there.
I think she's already up there.
Yeah, she not stopping. Anyways, this book in general, I'd probably just get it raw again. 9.8s are nice to have in this book. You know, less chance of you damaging it. It would look fantastic displayed. There's really no spec potential for it. That's my opinion, though. But with those books with specific artists, they go up and down, and then really up, and then really down. So it's not a bad book to flip. It's great to have, too.
Yeah. And a lot of those probably
really
came
good
from Comic Mint already in a 9.8 too. Probably a lot of them were pre-graded ahead of time and then sold. Yeah, a lot of those exclusives are like that.
It's a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Why not? If you love it, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I like that opinion. Okay, next up on the list, and we're sticking, these are all like 2021s here. We got, oh wait, no, this is 2022. Amazing Spider-Man 93, volume number 5 from 2022. So this is a really recent book. You got Zeb Wells and Patrick Gleason. This is the variant cover Patrick Gleason on this book. Beautiful freaking cover. You got Chasm on there and that spiderweb goodness. It's kind of like at this point, I mean, there's even more of those spiderweb Gleason covers coming out. There was a little while where I was starting to get a little overdone. I wouldn't say tired of them, but then this one came out and I got sucked right back in. I was like, okay, I'm not done with them. I need more of them. I need more after seeing this. But this is a really cool book, and I'm glad it's getting like a little bit more love, because I think it started out kind of slow when it came out. Mm-hmm. Like, it was not something everybody was hunting for until now they realize stuff's going on. But you've got Ben Reilly becomes Chasm. That was like a big deal. This was the very last book of the Beyond series, and it ends, I mean, Ben Reilly's basically the main character of the entire Beyond series. Like, Peter Parker's laid up in the hospital bed for most of the series, so that everything revolves around him. And as you realize, the Beyond Corporation has ways of like erasing parts of your memory. Mm-hmm. And what they do is he finds out that they're evil, or so evil, I guess, Beyond Corporation. So they want to retain him as an asset. So they decide to erase part of his memory. What they do is they erase his memory of Uncle Ben, of him and his aspects with Uncle Ben, which kind of is his whole like great power, great responsibility. He loses that aspect of himself. So immediately you start to see that he doesn't really care about some innocent people around him because he doesn't remember that. And at the end of the story, he kind of turns into this Chasm character. which is really cool. They don't really let you see anything of him as a villain. He's supposedly going to be an upcoming villain as Chasm, but he doesn't really do anything bad in this story in particular. He just kind of puts on the costume at the end. On a side note, the new Amazing Spider-Man run that's out has nothing to do with him, and it's really weird. It's almost kind of confusing how they're connecting, and it's kind of strange because Peter did something bad. That's why Mary Jane doesn't like him anymore in the series. But it's strange. Cool book though. I don't know, Zach. How cool is it? Is it cool enough to get graded?
Well, recent sales of $53 and $62.09 for a CGC 9.8 is not bad. There's 457 CGC 9.8s.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know.
Okay.
448 are Universal, and 9 of them are Signature Series. There's 489 total graded. So anybody that doesn't have a 9.8, I'm sorry, that wanted to get it graded. Actually, this has pretty good spec potential. See, it's a fantastic cover. Technically, there's a first appearance.
Yeah.
I mean, they might... It's not a bad idea to have, like, Peter go back, because sometimes they like...
Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to have him go bad a little bit as a new villain that will probably potentially go back to good or just die and then brought back 10 years later. Why not?
I really love Ben Reilly too.
Yeah, he's a great Scarlet Spider. Yeah. Actually, for $62 for the high, it's not a bad deal to buy it. I mean, it's fantastic. If this book goes hot, it's probably going to be that cover specifically, and it's a cover B, not a.
I think it's cover B. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a exclusive from one of those other companies. So it's not a bad shot to take, guys.
Yeah, and I think the new series coming out the eventual new series will be called The Dark Web. I believe is going to be the new run where he'll be kind of the center, I think, protagonist of that series, the Dark Web series. So I'm excited when that comes out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good villain.
Yeah, especially they're hoping he might even be kind of like a Joker kind of villain. Like that's how crazy they're going to make him. Right?
Jeez.
That'd be cool. Okay, next up on the list. Okay, we started to go a little older here, and I picked both of these books because they're both books that the princess has and she loves a lot. So I thought it'd be cool to get Zach's opinion on. So, Amazing Fantasy Volume 2, Number 1 from 2004. Great combo. You got Mark Brooks and Fiona Avery on this series here, which is awesome. But Zach also likes this book a lot. You got first appearance of Aranya, a.k.a. Anya Corazon, which Aranya is Spanish for spider, which is also pretty cool. This is also the first team of the Sisterhood of the Wasp. This is just overall like a really cool book. I think the series is really cool. There's some really huge keys in this, like first Amadeus Cho and 15?
Yes.
And then who's that? The Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
Camilla something.
Yeah, the Scorpion Girl in there. There's a bunch of really good keys in this run, but this is there's some spec for this character. Aranya is possibly supposed to appear in that Madam Web movie that is kind of like lingering in the background all the time. It doesn't seem like it's going to be huge, but it's kind of lingering around there, so she could be in there. She seems to be a pretty major character in the new Edge of Spider-Verse comic book series coming out. They have her on the cover of a bunch of them. She's kind of morphed into this new Spider-Woman type character from this series. So overall, really cool book. Overall, very underrated book. I think it's super I'm surprised this book is not $100 raw already. And you can still find it for like $35-$40. But what do you find it for in a graded book, Zach? And what do you think?
So recent sales, very stable, $180 to $199.50. There's 776 CGC 9.8s, not too bad for a book that came out in 2004. 742 of them are Universal, 31 of them are Signature Series. 3 are qualified, 0 restored. There's 1,506 total graded. This book has fantastic cover art by Mark Brooks. He's fantastic every time. They're liking him so much that it's starting to go up in price more and more for his original works. And it's not bad to have this book at all. And first appearance of Rania, potential big Spider-Man character that's coming out to the big screen. Dude, $200 for a 9.8. I'm actually thinking about it right now. I'm thinking about real hard to get this book. This is another one of those situations, no-brainer. Buy. because it's going to be $1,000 book.
I mean, look at Amadeus Cho in the same series is like astronomically high now for a 9/8. You know?
Yeah.
And that's like in the same run, and a character that's probably slightly cooler than Aranya, I would say, overall. I mean, he's done more, but she could get there. She could get to that level.
Real quick.
Yeah, easily get to that level.
Also, keep an eye out for the newsstand. That's going to be a lot rarer. Yeah, it's a buy for sure. It's a buy book. Buy it now.
Get it. All right. Okay. Last but not least, and I know Princess actually came into a couple of these recently, and I thought this would be cool to get Zach's opinion on. But you have Wonder Woman Volume 2, number 1 from 1987, and this is some great, amazing George Perez goodness, wraparound cover. There's so many good, like number 7 in this book, in the series, really good. I think it's 8 or 9 right after that is amazing too, but this is a cool book overall. It has some good significance to it. It is origin of Wonder Woman. I think probably retold. I don't think there's probably a couple different origins, but it has an origin of Wonder Woman. It has first appearance of Philippus, Amazonian captain, and then there's Alayla, an Amazonian warrior. So you got a bunch of Amazonian warriors in there. I think there's some retellings of a few gods, like Ares shows up in this again. This series in general, I think, has a lot to do with the movies were based on, especially like the Wonder Woman 1984, the second one. Unfortunately, for me at least, the first one blew me away how good it was. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but sometimes those like World War I war movies kind of catch you off guard, and it's so good. Plus, like Chris Pine was pretty awesome in the movie. The second one blew me away how bad it was. I was like, whoa, okay, the first one was really good, the second one. So I kind of hurt this series a little bit, but still a great book to have. Still, I think, underrated. Hopefully something else could come out of this. But, Zach, what do you think about this as a graded book?
Well,
what are your feelings?
Well, recent sales, a little bit not as stable as the last book. It's $151.50 to $200 for CGC 9.8. There's 1,055 CGC 9.8s.
Wow.
869 of them are Universal. 186 are Signature Series. Probably from the CGC sighting, a lot of them probably came up. There's 2,746 there's 2,746 total graded for this copy. There's a no month variant or the second print, I guess.
Yeah.
There's only 8 9.8s and there's only 75 total graded. And there's a Canadian price variant. There's 8 9.8s and only 38 total graded.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Zach's always on the lookout for the more rare aspect of some of these books. That a lot of these haven't. Some of the Canadian price variants haven't popped off yet.
No.
And you never know. And like he's saying, like there's so little amount of these graded in comparison to the regular ones that like once all of a sudden somebody realizes that, it could go crazy, or it could not. But you never know.
Yeah,
it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, for this book, I'd probably. It's on the list to buy, but it's a little lower on the list. It's a fantastic book, DC. There's multiple first appearances. I mean, yeah, it's not bad at all.
It's just hard to say when they already used the story for a movie, sort of loosely. Yeah, it's hard to see it come back again. But
if you were to get this book or really want this book, either look for one of the variants in a 9.8 or raw high grade, or a 9.8 signed by George Perez is probably not a horrible.
Yeah, it has that going for George Perez cover, you can't go wrong there. Yeah,
not at all.
Yep, beautiful book. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up Time to Buy with Zach for today. We'll let you get back to your beautiful Saturday and all that goodness going on out there. So if you like the show and love the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down, because we'll be coming at you live on Wednesdays now. Normally it's 7 p.m., but you never know, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's how we roll out here in Washington. But yeah. And don't forget, we both now have Whatnot shows. Princess of Gains has her show, and Zach and myself have ComicGains. So check them out, follow them. We all do dollar starts on all of our books. Crazy goodness, crazy deals. We got giveaways galore. We're constantly hunting for new books to hook you guys up with gains, and we don't care what they sell for. We don't care what they go for. Right, Zach?
Yeah.
Exactly. Anything else?
You gotta share how you do that. So you kind of have to take the idea from Highlander, and then you take the idea from Hulk, and they slapped them together. It's Immortal Hulk. They should actually go a little bit farther. Cool. They should go a little farther and like just have a crap ton of Hulks, and they fight each other to the death, and everyone that dies, the one that survives gets their powers, and there can only be one Hulk, and it's probably gonna be Bruce Banner or Amadeus Cho as a totally awesome, totally immortal Hulk.
Nice.
2 in 1.
They need to redo that. Redo the TV show.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like HBO or something needs to redo, like,
Highlander. Oh, man.
So good.
That would be so fantastic.
Me and Zach were watching the one from, did it start in the 80s or 90s? 80s?
It had to be early
it's dated,
90s.
but I love that
early
show.
90s, I think.
I love that show when it came out.
First episode, you can tell that they didn't have much of a budget. The villain kept on giving you weird eyes, like the True Blood eyes.
Great show, though. Great show. And the movies are good. Except for the second one. Forget about the second one.
I actually like that one.
I know
Sean Connery.
I know you do. He's in the first one. It's good enough for me. All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Get those gains.
There can be only one.
Oh, yeah. There was in the first one. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Later, gainers.